Howdy, Aggies. It is time to get you a reaction on this Alabama game. It has been 24 hours. The Aggies went prospecting Saturday night and damn near struck it rich with Texas T. We found a good site to drill. We're just going to have to go a little bit deeper at this point. That's really what it's about, I think, at this point. It has never felt so good to be so wrong. So if you'll remember back, I had this game 52-7 on paper, but I gave an alternative game plan, right? And that alternative game plan was to smash them in the mouth, get a few turnovers, and maybe score on some short fields, get a special teams touchdown. We did almost all of those except for the special teams touchdown. All of those manifested except that special teams. We had it last year, and the game plan was there from last year, and we damn near replicated it. Those turnovers were key. We showed them that we have the dudes. We are really, really close to having a team. We are about to strike it rich. We're really, really, really close. We just got to get these dudes and turn them into a team. That's what we're waiting on. I spoke on Paul Feinbaum before the game because he's had an opinion, and I'm getting a little bit PO'd at this guy and ticked off, but I can appreciate what he's given to us right now, which is bulletin board material. Please keep it up. I love it, because when you are reeling like we have been, and you kind of get slapped in the face, with these, proverbial backhands, who wouldn't respond to that? And our guys have. Jimbo has responded. Haynes King responded. The whole team really has responded, and we're not without some of our flaws, but we have taken this to heart. You don't come in and question us like that and think that we're not going to come back at you. I mean, I would. Who wouldn't? I mean, if you're going to question me and come back at me, I'm coming back at you twice as hard. So you can come at me in this team about their ability and their heart and their scheme. But it motivated them all around. It did. It motivated them all around. And it gives folks like you and me the opportunity to rally around this team. There's a spirit. We cheer this team always because we've never seen them quit. And any team that doesn't quit deserves to have their fan base rally around them. Unconditionally. That's what we do. That's what Aggies do. That's what makes us who we are. People don't understand Midnight Yell. Who cares? They don't get that because they leave even when they're 2 touchdowns down or up. That's not in the Aggie heart. You know that. So this is different, and I love it. Keep it up, Feinbaum. We'll take all you got, man. All you got. So look, there's a lot to like, and there's some things to be frustrated about. So let's dissect those and get at those. I probably won't hit every single one of them because this was a very deep and complex game. A lot of things all around. Talk about that last play and all the things. We got Manziel tweeting about it. We got Mon tweeting about the last play. I'll tell you who I sided with and why. But I know this. We were counted down and out. Vegas had it as -24. Rarely do they look like a fool. But last night, Vegas looked like the guy trying to jump into the Bellagio fountains. They looked like the guy trying to double down on 12. We gave Bama all that smoke. And we could have won this game by 20. That's a possibility. We've been talking for the last, 2, 3, 4 weeks about how poorly we've played and been right there in games. And you saw that again last night. I mean, we were struggling to play well, and still there we are, getting a turnover, converting, getting 17 points off turnovers. I mean, look, when we put it together, we are going to kick somebody's ass. This team looks like mud hole stomping season is right around the corner, and they're fixing up their blinds so they can get all that ass stomping done, and then they can go ahead and walk it dry. That's what this team looks like right now. What do we love about the game? I got a lot of things to love about this game and takeaways to love about this game. First off, all the freshmen. So many freshmen playing significant minutes. Stewart, Marshall, Nolan, Lucas, Shamar Stewart, Denver, Dewberry. There's probably a few more that even got worked in. Just know the future is bright. Future very very bright. We need to harness that. We got a couple of I don't know, redshirt freshmen, sophomores coming in like Moose. Where? Oh, what a guy to replace Anais Smith. Thankfully, this guy is really coming in. He looked weird that first game, right? But come on. I think I'd even mentioned, that was a weird route that he run. I think it was against, was it against Arkansas? I think it was against Arkansas. Yeah, he had that corner beat, guy that looked like he was a deer in the headlights. It made that weird jump, right? But he ran an awesome route. And he has great hands, but he just went up for an awkward. He must have been so nervous at that time, and since he's calmed down, and he looks like a dude, just straight duding all over the field. Great catch. Haynes throws behind him, makes an amazing grab. He's running really good routes. We've been missing really good routes for a while. Stewart and Marshall are doing the same. It's a shame on that last play that route maybe could be done a little bit differently in timing. Talk about that more though. But still, other things to love. Diggs is starting to look like Clemens about this time last season. Remember, Clemens took a little time to get wound up, and when he did, man, he brought the heat. Diggs is starting to look like that. Forced two turnovers, 2 fumbles, and King has some fire. I love to see that fire from King. We saw it from Max when he first came in, right? We're like, oh wow, something we've been missing. But this may just be the little flip around that King needed, right? So gets benched, comes back in, and maybe he's ready for redemption. We'll see. I have coded this season as redemption season, so we'll see how that turns out. Maybe he'll really show us what he's capable of. Through the 1 interception, missed a few other things, and he's definitely got some room to grow. He's got some things to work on, but don't count this kid out. That heart was there. That heart was there. Theme also for tonight, heart, and some things and how it speaks to where this team is at the moment. Okay, so big thing to take away from this game for me is just quick question: whose team is this? I know whose team this is. It's Jimbo's team. You could tell this was Jimbo's team the way they played. Never seen them quit. They're not gonna quit, and until they do, this is my coach. Did you see how he treated King at the end of the game? King is he's tore up about the throw. He didn't like it. Didn't like the outcome of the game. Very emotional, and I like that. And Jimbo was right there for him. Jimbo was right there for him when he needed to be there for him. That's my coach. Okay. We'll talk about things maybe coming up in the next week, a few weeks or so, about maybe when I would say it's time to start looking to replace a coach. It ain't time. It's not time. So we'll start thinking about it, but I don't see that coming anywhere in the near future. And there's lots of reasons for that, but that's a whole topic for another day. So a couple things to work on. Some things we were still frustrated, right? We saw a little bit of that 3-man front. Didn't like it. We did switch to 4, and then you liked it. And you're like, well, why were we doing that 3-man front the whole time, right? It's things we've been saying. You feel like the average Joe had been pointing out there the entire year. Next thing, so we got rid of the 3-man front. Now we're ready to move on to something else, right? And let's start off with the 2 high safeties. Let's please somehow get rid of this. Man, I could really go into a lot of reasons why I'm really struggling with this. I could probably lump this in with the 2 high safeties and the cushion that we are giving on a regular basis. It would probably take some film review to get into this a little bit heavier, but when you're not going to read quickly and play downhill into the box, it's really difficult, because then you're trying to open field tackle, but you're waiting until the offender, running back, wide receiver, depends on who it is, gets to you about 5 yards down the field. And they've already got a 5-yard gain at that point. We got to start meeting these guys at the line of scrimmage, and you see that happen a few times during this game. and we play lights out. It's like, why don't we play that like that every play? And there's a time and place, but man, we really need to play to our strengths. A lot of reading that's going on. You saw Jared Kerr. He played great in some plays and not so great in other plays. There was one play where he had to read and he missed the running back coming out, and it's just a little bit too complex of a situation, especially for a younger guy. But when you send the guy and you give him one job, he's amazing. Amazing. We got to put these guys in places for them to succeed. Okay? The O-line still has some holes, and we have got to stop playing with our shoulder as our first point of contact. We've got to start making contact earlier before they get a run and start, and we have got to get better at these stunts. Those have been a problem for us all year long. So we've shown some growth. We have, but we really need to find a nice set of 5 guys that play well together. That's part of the key that's going on right now, and we just got to get a little bit more physical there. We really do. We just got to have to get more physical and really start leveraging what we can actually do. So I like the challenging of these guys, and I want to see more challenging of them because they can play what they can play. We know that they're good, but we got to see it, and they've got to show it to us, and they can't be afraid to get on these guys' asses. That okay? So we already talked about Haynes and some ways he needs to grow. We said that, but the things that he can do. Let's talk about that last play for a minute, right? So Manziel tweeted worst call he's ever seen. Kellen Mond tweets back, not really at him, but in response to everything, because everybody's like, "What play was that? What was going on with that?" Right? So he thought Manziel thought it was the worst play. Kellen Mond says, "Well, we ran that back in 18 against Kentucky." Okay, first off, that was against Kentucky. This is Bama. However, the point of the play is that it's not a bad play. And take into context this, right? So Haynes has had trouble getting more than 2 seconds to throw all night. So if you're going to call a passing play, you better call something that's going to be a quick, non-complex play, and that's going to be a quick throw. That was this. Okay, so I understand that. So it's not the worst play call in the world. Where I will be critical is this, and that's that this play call required very precise timing. I think it really illustrates what we're going through with this scheme. Okay, so when I believe it was Stewart ran the route, right? And he kind of motions in, goes back outside, and then turns it back towards. He probably should have ran that route a little bit deeper because you don't want to catch that, on the one. You want to catch that inside the end zone. But more than that, that route's meant to be caught, then that ball's meant to be caught as soon as he turns around. And that's what Kellen was saying was taking place. So I actually agree with Kellen. It wasn't a bad play call. But I'm not exactly agreeing with Manziel either, because I'm not going to go on both sides. But the point is this, is that play call probably had a low percentage of actually getting us what we needed. We wanted a touchdown, and the probability of us throwing the ball exactly when it needed to be thrown was low. And so this is what I've been trying to get at with this offense and the things that we're doing. Difference between us and Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a little bit more straightforward, kind of like what I was also talking about, what happened with Kerr. He didn't have to think so much, he just had to do. Well, Mississippi State's offense, they just have to do. They don't have to think very much. Ours, you have to think a little bit more. And you've got to run routes in a certain way. Did you see all the routes run just short of the first down marker? I mean, I was getting so frustrated about not getting to the line of gain. But you've got to run those routes in a certain way. And you've got to make certain moves when you get up to the defender so that you make your break in a way that allows you to catch the ball at the first down. So still looking for us to simplify some things. And when we do that, I think we are going to catch lightning in a bottle. It's just a matter of time. So the offense is still, it's acceptable. We could probably still use an offensive coordinator and a game manager There was a lot going on in this game too, right? It would have been nice to have somebody else delegating those plays and somebody else completely managing this game. So we'll see how that turns out. It's not changing tomorrow. It's going to take the offseason for us to get to that. Overall, I'll tell you this though. Be excited about how we looked in front of prime time matchup. We took Bama down to the wire. We gave them all that smoke. They didn't want any of that at the end. So they have a history of student section leaving early. They weren't doing that this game. Okay, so there was a little essence of them winning their Super Bowl last night. They really wanted this one. You know, there was a lot going into it. This is a rivalry at this point. We thought it was LSU. Arkansas has been a rivalry too. Alabama is a bit of a rivalry too. Yeah, yeah. So we'll see where this picks up at next. But there's something going on here. So here's the thing: we're going to regroup in the bye week. So we got a week off. Then we're going to hit it hard. I'm going to give you a couple new things, hopefully, or at least one new thing this next week, as kind of doing some different things. And I'll tell you a little sneak peek. I want to address fan engagement during the game. Okay, so we'll talk about that more. I want to hear y'all's ideas, to be quite honest, because there's nothing better than putting something together than to crowdsource it. But I've heard some rumblings out there, and I've been on this for about a year, as a matter of fact. I got some footage from the Arkansas game last year that I went to when Texas played, and just to get some ideas about what we can do during Kyle Field. So at Kyle Field during games. But we'll talk about that more. We've got South Carolina the following week, so we'll be right back on schedule whenever that comes back around, and we'll hit it hard. We've got 6 games to go, and we'll do a preview this week and kind of an outlook for the rest of the season. It could be bright, it could not be, but we'll see. It depends on what this team wants to do. So we'll see you this next week, and if not, next Monday for the preview for South Carolina. Till then, thanks and gig 'em.